Students, the topic of today's lecture is testing of hypothesis for difference between two population means mu1 minus mu2. In our previous lecture, we have discussed about testing of hypothesis for single population mean. Now we are discussing testing of hypothesis for difference between two population means mu1 minus mu2 in case of dependent samples. Dependent sample means the sample are related to each other and the number of observations in both samples are equal. So the two samples that have same sampling distribution, sampling units, x1 and x2 will be the part of this procedure. So we first take difference d that is equals to x1 minus x2, and the formation of hypothesis of us testing of formation of hypothesis in this case is mu d is less than equals to 0 uh, or greater than 0. So cases are same जैसे हमने discuss किए थे अपने previous lecture में. It can be equals to and not equals to, greater than equals to and less than equals to. There will be three kind of cases. So उसमें से कोई भी बन सकता है. So you will choose according to the statement of the question. The next step is level of significance. That will be 5%. If it is given in the question, you will use that percentage. Step number 3 will be test statistic. Test statistic in this case is t-test. That is, the main variable is d. D is basically the difference between two samples. So d bar, that means the mean of d minus mu d divided by standard deviation divided by under root of n, that is the standard error. So these are the formulas of its mean and its standard deviation. If we are using t variable, so there will be obviously a degrees of freedom, which is n minus 1. Step number 4 is critical region. The actual critical region in this case is given, but as we are using software, so we will use p-value. P-value is less than alpha. I have already discussed in the classroom that there are two kinds of hypothesis procedures. The one is by using critical value, the other one is by using p-value. So we are using the p-value criteria because we are using software. So the critical region will be p-value is less than alpha. The next step is calculations. So we are moving to example. We will calculate, and in step 6 we will conclude. We will give conclusion. So this is the whole procedure for testing of hypothesis in case of difference between means. Let's move to the example. A textile company manager is trying to decide whether the use of radial tires instead of regular belted tires improves fuel economy. 12 cars were equipped with radial tires and driven over a prescribed test course. Without changing drivers, the same cars were then equipped with regular belted tires and driven once again over the test course. The gasoline consumption in kilometers per liter was recorded as follows. So the gasoline consumption is given here in the radial tires, which are the improved tires, and the belted tires are the previous tires which are used regularly. Can we conclude that the cars equipped with radial tires give better fuel economy than those equipped with belted tires? So um, in this test, first of all, we are going to construct a hypothesis. So formation of hypothesis, step number 1. formation of hypothesis. We will make two hypotheses, H0 and H1. H0, that is equals to equipped, assume the equipped belted tires. So we are going to make null hypothesis. That is mu d is providing, the radial tires provide more fuel economy, better fuel economy than those of the regular belted tires. So it is providing more fuel economy. The null hypothesis will be mu t is greater than equals to 0. Now we are moving to alternative, which is H1, that is equals to mu d is less than 0. So these are our hypotheses. So moving to step number 2, which is level of significance. Obviously it is not given in the question. So we will consider it as 5%. Alpha is 5%. Alpha is equals to 0.05. So step number 3, test statistic. That is, obviously I have mentioned it here, that the formula for this case is here. So this is test statistic with degrees of freedom, which is n minus 1. In step number 4, this is the critical region. So I have told you use a p-value in your conclusion. That means you are using this critical region, p-value. Let's move to the software and enter the data and perform this testing procedure. So we are shifting to the IBM SPSS. I have entered two datas, radial and belted. Radial and belted. This is the formal method to enter the data if you have two samples. But in this case, in testing of hypothesis, we are not using, हम इनको इस्तेमाल नहीं करेंगे इस तरह से. हम एक नया डेटा सेट जनरेट करेंगे. डेटा के नाम से, आप किसी भी नाम से जनरेट कर सकते हैं. मैंने इसको डेटा के नाम से जनरेट किया. तो डिफरेंस बिटवीन की मीन की टेस्टिंग में हम लोग डेटा को इस तरह से इस्तेमाल नहीं करेंगे जैसे सैंपल 1 सैंपल 2. हमने इसको एक ही कॉलम में लिखना है. लाइक पहला सैंपल मैं लिख लूँ रेडियल टायर्स का, और इसी के नीचे मैं बेल्टेड टायर्स लिख रही हूँ. कॉपी एंड paste. So what I am going to do, I am going to generate a new variable, which is a variable of group. It will tell me One is for radial tire and 2 is for belted tire. So I have generated a group variable in which I am mentioning that we have two samples. So I am nominating the value 1 for radial tire and 2 for belted tires. And that is nominal. So that you can also choose ordinal. That is totally fine. Now, what we are going to do is to assign the values. One is for, as you can see, 5.2 are the values, till 5.2 are the values of radial tires. Now we are writing 2 for the belted tire. Okay, so this is done, the data is done. We are not using it in these two variables. We are using these two variables if we are performing testing of hypothesis for difference between two mean. सो डेटा को लिखने का तरीका क्या है कि आपके पास दोनों सैंपल्स आपने एक ही डेटा फाइल में लिखने हैं और उसके बाद आपने ग्रुप्स असाइन करने हैं. नंबर 1 आप इसको 0 भी कह सकते हैं, 0 1 भी कह सकते हैं, 1 2 भी कह सकते हैं. 1 is for sample 1 and 2 is for sample 2. Now we are going to perform testing of hypothesis. We are going to analyze, compare mean, independent samples t-test. So test variable is the data file because it has both samples in it. See, you can see there is another column which is a column of group variables. So you are entering the group. Now it is saying to provide the define your groups. So group number 1 is 1 and group number 2 is 2. हमने रेडियल टायर्स को पहला सैंपल लिया है और जो बेल्टेड टायर्स हैं उसको पुराना सैंपल यानी कि टू से हमने उसको नंबर 2 असाइन किया है. सो पहले हम लोग ले रहे हैं रेडियल में से डिफरेंस ले रहे हैं बेल्टेड का. अगर हमने बेल्टेड में से रेडिकल का डिफरेंस लेना हो तो ग्रुप 1 में आ जाएगा 2 और ग्रुप 2 में आ जाएगा 1. सो डिपेंड करता है आपसे रिक्वायर्ड क्या है. Let's move to the options. That is fine if we need confidence interval. If it is 95%, you can click it. Otherwise, there is no need to use it. Okay, so this is the output. Now, independent sample t-test. Here we have the output which is, this is the output and the significant value is, p-value is 0.738, right? This is the significant value. So step number 5, you can simply copy paste this table. We don't need this whole table, but you can skip the information which you don't need for your requirement. Copy and paste. It is a big table and I don't need both results. So let me try it again. It's a very big table. We don't need Lebanese test and you can adjust this table by yourself like I am doing, but in online class I don't have that much time for the adjustments. Well, I don't have time. You can copy paste it or adjust it. Calculations. We need p-value, which is 0.738. 0.738. Obviously, if you are performing any assignment or doing, case studies, you need to write down the output here, the output which you get from the software. But I don't have time to adjust it here, so I am skipping it. But you are not required to skip it if you are doing any assignment. So the p-value is this one, and the value of alpha is 0.05. Now, the critical region is this one. We are moving towards the conclusion. Step number 6, conclusion. So this is, we need to, check if we are going towards the conclusion, that is 0.738 is less than 0.05. As you can see, p-value is not less than 0.05. So the above statement is false, and we do not reject H naught. So we are not rejecting H naught क्योंकि critical region में नहीं आ रहा, statement false है. So we are not rejecting H naught, we are accepting H naught. That means the difference is greater than 0. It means the difference is greater than 0 means the first sample was the radical tire. So obviously radical tire is are more fuel efficient than the belted tires. This is the conclusion. So you can just correct it, right? So this is how you can perform the testing procedure in SPSS in case of difference between two population means. I hope there is not any issue. For further issue, you can say me or check me, call me. You can discuss in a group. Thank you so much.